Good morning, YouTubers. T Square here with T Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. I know a lot of people are down right now on gold and silver, how the price has been slipping. Kind of want to talk a little bit about that today because, I mean, it's amazing that it's falling like it is. However, I personally don't think there's anything to worry about, but that's just my personal opinion. And it's hard once people have already made up their minds on what's going on. It's hard to really change their minds. However, I just want to talk about some different stuff going on that may make people change their minds. I think people are missing, the people that are worried about it are missing the big picture of what's really going on. And to a certain point, that's always going to happen because a lot of people just tend to have herd mentality. They follow the herd. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. If you enjoy today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, help me out, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Are you still buying? Are you slowing down on buying? What's going on? So right off the bat, in order to get started, the first thing we got to do is look at the silver price. As the silver price has been slipping, as you can see just from this chart right here. I mean, we were at 32.80, almost 33 bucks yesterday morning, and the price continues to slip right now. In just overnight trading, we're down another 1.25% or 41 cents. However, I'm not convinced personally that this can go on for much longer, so we'll have to see how this all plays out. Could it keep falling? Absolutely. But is it that devastating, really? We've been talking about this a little bit off and on, only because when you look at it, a lot of people, it's amazing how people are getting nervous over a good deal. And so right off the bat, we'll just kind of go through the prices, I guess, first before I just kind of start talking. Right now, we're sitting on silver at 31.81, down even more. It's kind of comical how it just keeps falling. We've got gold at $3,128. Pretty amazing when you look at even the one-day chart, the 5-day chart. If you look at a 1-month chart, it really doesn't look that bad. It looks like the last month we've just given up essentially a little bit more than we took in over the last month. However, you know, if you zoom out, let's just go year to date for a quick minute. Year to date, I mean, here we are almost halfway through the year. We're at 515 right now at the time of filming this video, and actually you guys watching this video. And you know, gold started the year at $2,627. That almost sounds unbelievable when you think of 2,600, especially seeing that we were up to 3,500 not too long ago. So personally, we're still up a good amount. Like I said, I can't stress that I'm not stressing this. I find it comical. Do I feel like, man, I wish I had held out a little bit and put in some of those big gold orders that I put in? I mean, I won't say big gold orders, but they're big for me. So I wish that I had purchased them a little bit cheaper? Of course. But is it the end of the world? Where are we going to start seeing some major resistance, and how quick can it pop up? See, that's something that a lot of people don't really think about, is how quick we've seen gold pop up in the last month. Seeing multiple days in a row where we had over $100 silver gold gains. And once you realize that we could bounce back to 3,500 in no time at all. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Realistically, probably not. It's probably not going to happen right off, but there is a lot of things out there that is going to, I believe, continue to drive demand on gold and also add to demand on silver. I mean, a lot of people aren't even taking into account that China is still buying gold. You know, the central banks of the U.S., they're still buying gold. And this whole plan that they have right now, this great deal, amazing deal, everything going on, you know, it's a 90-day pause. That's the deal, a 90-day pause. There's even more talk that they're going to get rid of the whole thing altogether. All tariffs are going to go away. You know, personally, I think they realize the economy's in trouble. The economy is slowing. They were trying to find different ways to kind of prop it up. They're going a bunch of different avenues. And that does worry me, because when economies really start to tank, it seems like we always go, I hate to say it, we go to war. It always seems like war tends to break out at certain points in time when economies are really bad. Um, but a lot of people just aren't looking at what the central banks are doing. Do you think the central banks are essentially skittish on a dropping gold price? No, they're taking this opportunity to acquire more. And I think a lot of individuals should maybe consider doing that, but that's just my personal opinion, not financial advice. Nothing I say on here is financial advice. I'm still continuing to pick up. Some people may ask, how come you didn't do a package opening lately? I found that the package opening videos don't really have quite the views that I used to get, and so I've kind of slowed down a little bit on the package openings. However, I'm still picking up a little bit of stuff here and there where I can, and I do kind of show some of the stuff during the evening short videos. In fact, I just recently got a couple of really cool coins that there's only 2,016 of them in circulation, which is pretty cool. It was a Brexit gold coin. I was pretty excited about that. I'm still picking up stuff where I can. I'm trying to pick up stuff at low premiums and collectibles at really good deals. The problem that's coming up now is as the price falls, you're seeing more and more people decide not to sell their collectible stuff, which means that I will probably be falling back to just basic bullion silver and bullion gold. But we'll see how that plays out as time goes on. I got to talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Bitcoin still over 100K. We're sitting there at roughly $102,000, down $1,110 or a 1%. I kind of, to me, it seems like Bitcoin is just kind of stuck right in that area. Its all-time high was hit a little while back, and they have not been able to essentially get back up there to that 107, 108. I kind of wonder when we will hit it, if we will hit it. Personally, I'm not a Bitcoin fan, but I know a lot of people that follow the channel are Bitcoin fans, whether they're naysayers and they just follow the channel just to kind of shoot down silver and gold and feel good that Bitcoin's up. And I'll be honest, if I was in Bitcoin, I would feel good that Bitcoin's up right now. However, I would definitely be wanting to take profits right now. In just the past year, it's up $40,000 or 65%. That's phenomenal. There's no disputing that, but anything that goes up too fast can come down just as fast. And who's really buying it? You know, it's not central banks buying it. It's not the shot callers. It's big companies, essentially. BlackRock's been buying it up. Michael Saylor's been buying it up. And a lot of people just don't really even understand what they're buying. And when people don't even really understand what they're buying, that can cause problems. I can't say that with the people that are buying gold and silver, because a lot of the gold and silver community, they spend a lot of time researching it. They understand the fundamentals of it, and we're just not seeing that with Bitcoin. But I'm not going to sit here and beat up Bitcoin all night or all morning. Take a quick look at the DXY. DXY back over 100. We're trading now at 100.87, so we were a little bit higher today, and that had a big factor in why gold and silver did get beat down, but a lot of it is because of the so-called trade deal that's out there right now, and them making it sound like, hey, the economy's doing better, and we need to, you know, invest in stocks, and stocks have been doing good, but I think a lot of people are about ready to get crushed on the stock market too. The stock market, we'll say the Dow Jones first, trading at 42,051 points, down only 89 points, or not even 0.25%, so that's pretty good. When you zoom out over the last year, we're not quite at the high, we're not quite at the low, but we have been making big gains in the stock market, and I kind of think if the economy is slowing down, it's getting bad, it's just a matter of time before we start seeing the markets tank, especially when you understand that a handful of stocks pretty much control the whole Dow Jones, the whole NASDAQ. You know, it's not the majority that you're really seeing. I mean, there's a couple of big gainers, about 10 of them, a dozen of them that's doing really good, and then the other stuff is not really doing that great. Taking a quick look at the NASDAQ at 19,146. up 137 points, or almost a full percent, which is pretty good. As you kind of zoom out a 6 month time frame, though, I mean, it's up 2.5%. Year to date, it's down. Let's see what 1 year looks like. Over the past year, up 14%. I will say over the last year, it has done well, but we have seen some crazy volatility. Take a look, like right here. This wasn't that long ago that it was down to 15,267. That was April 8th. I mean, really, that wasn't that long ago at all. I mean, when you really think about it, almost a little over a month ago. We've had a phenomenal month. However, don't be surprised to see this all of a sudden tank too. And I'm not saying all this because I am a gold and silver stacker or an investor in gold and silver. Personally, if the economy was doing better and people were making more money and people were spending more money, that would be a good thing. I don't want to sound like I'm a naysayer just beating up everything. However, I think when you take a look at the safe haven that gold and silver provides, I don't think people should be fully invested in it. That's not what I'm telling you at all. What I'm saying is I think it is a great insurance policy, and everybody should own some. And since the majority of the people in the United States, and a lot of people around the world even, there are countries out there that, yeah, China's been buying up gold, India's been buying up gold and silver. There are countries that have a lot of people that are buying it. But that's because these countries have seen devastating events, and that reminds them to essentially stack precious metals. Now, here in the United States, we haven't seen anything too devastating in a while. If you look back at Mexico, we've talked about the whole, I think it was 1993. I think it was 1993 when they did the revaluation on the Mexican peso. I mean, that turned a lot of people away from the peso and wanting to get into gold, wanting to get into U.S. dollars. I would not be surprised if the U.S. eventually has some major event that really, I hate to say, teaches people or gives Americans a lesson, because obviously I know when stuff like that happens, it affects everybody. It doesn't just affect the people that are in the stock market. It also affects stackers alike. If all of a sudden everything fell down in value, and gold and silver realistically would potentially fall down in value too for a short time, I believe. However, I think it does have an effect on people's life because everything tends to get more expensive day to day. And how many people really want to give up their silver to, whether it be pay for more expensive food, pay for more expensive whatever the case may be, because the dollar's going down? Especially if all of a sudden we see the jobs market just totally tank and a lot of stuff start shutting down. We've seen a lot of layoffs. We've seen a lot of companies shut down. And who knows? This could continue. It could get worse. Obviously, governments of the world are not going to tell you that. They want to keep you confident. It's their job to keep people feeling safe. Because until stuff really breaks down and people don't feel safe, once people don't feel safe, that's when they really pull the plug and then crazy stuff happens. It's almost like being in battle. You know, you have to keep the morale of the troops up. You have to keep the troops' confidence up. If the troops think that they're going to go out there and just get wiped out, they're not going to be confident, and they may want to run away. And in this case, if people aren't confident in the dollar, if they're not confident in the economy, they're going to want to run away from that too, and they're going to move into other assets like gold and silver. Now, eventually, I think something is going to happen, and people are just going to realize that, yeah, this debt can't be paid. Now, the next big date, I guess you could say, for potential debt crisis here in the United States or government shutdown or whatever you want to say, that's looking like September. Well, we know in the summer months things slow down. A lot of people go on vacation. You see a dip for the summer months. September, though, that could mark some crazy fireworks. So I've said previously we've got a 90-day, I guess you can call it 90-day tariff pause. And once you look at that, you know, as they're trying to make a deal, you have the summer coming up. you have a lot of stuff, and then all of a sudden it seems like we're going to get hit with even more stuff coming down the line. So we'll see how it plays out and what happens. With that being said, not going to be a really long video because I think the major topic that we had to talk about a little bit was the confidence in gold, the confidence in silver, or the lack of. We're seeing huge amounts of volume. As you look at this chart right here on silver, you can see we don't normally see this much consecutive volume throughout the day, throughout the night. It's nonstop right now. And this is people buying, but it is a whole lot of selling, and it's selling on huge contract levels. So we'll see how that plays out. Even when you zoom out, you don't see the amount of selling that we're seeing, the volume that we're seeing right here normally. So it seems like when the volume slows down, that's usually when it seems to be going in the upward direction. So we'll see how this plays out. I thank you all for watching. Like I said, not going to be a long video today. I've been taking care of a lot of personal stuff lately, so the videos, I want to keep putting up a video every day just because I think it's important for the algorithm and the consistency for the people that do watch the channel every day. I want to make sure that I'm putting up stuff and at least touching base with you guys on what's going on. So with that being said, gonna wrap up here. I thank you all for watching. Please be sure to check out all of our great videos, and I will see you guys again on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.